Hey guys, it's Jillian here from Once Upon a Time Fitness. Today I've got a kind of different video than you're used to seeing, and it's going to be a little bit about homesteading and what I've got going on. It's more of like a personal type video. So a little bit about me. If you know me personally, like my best friends all know this, every single year, and hit the like button if you can relate to this, every single year I tell myself that this is going to be the year that I have a successful garden, and it's going to be the year that I'm a successful homesteader. Sorry for the shaking, I'm holding the phone in my hands. Every single year I fail, and this year with the virus going on and everything and everybody freaking out about food, I just kind of remembered back to when I had chickens before, and I was like, dude, I remember during Snowvember, whatever year that was, Snowvember, it had to have been 2015 maybe, 2015, 2014, we got like 7 foot of snow dumped on us overnight, and we were locked in for a week. And see, in Buffalo, New York, which is next, pretty close to where I live, we are really used to the social isolation during the winter. We're not used to it when the weather starts getting warm, so we're not really a big fan of this, but we're used to socially isolating and having bread and having eggs and having canned vegetables and being self-sustainable in that matter. Now during Snowvember, I had like 20 chickens, and it was really nice because the whole community got together. Now of course it's a little different because we were allowed to like work with each other and like partner up together to get things done. So the men got on all the roofs and they all shoveled off the roofs. The old man across the street, he went through and he plowed everybody's driveway multiple times. Howard was amazing. He was like 80 something years old, and he was pretty cool. He did that. And I stayed in my house, washed eggs that I collected from my chickens and handed out to the neighbors. So it was pretty cool because we were all able to have eggs, even though we couldn't get to the store and we were stranded at our homes for a week. It's pretty awesome. So now like I remember that and I'm like, okay, like it's really nice to be self-sustainable and have that luxury, yes, I think chickens are a luxury, of having farm fresh eggs whenever you want to. The garden is something that I've never quite figured out. My dad's a really good gardener. I've learned a lot from him, but I'm kind of a lazy gardener. I stick plants in a pot, expect it to work. I've done really good with tomatoes. Moderately average with tomatoes. I've had them, you know, I've been able to do things with them. Fruit trees, I've done good with my fruit trees, which I don't have any planted here. I'm getting those up soon. As far as planting, I've never really been successful with it. Like a couple years ago, I was working at the post office, just didn't have the time. I was working 80 hours a week and I was exhausted. I used a cultivator to rototill my garden, which did not work, but I was too lazy to go out and buy a rototiller, and then too lazy to tend the garden, which had roots that were not, you know, established in nice tilled earth because I was too lazy. My garden didn't do very good. Actually, it didn't do anything. It just died. So that kind of sucked. But this year, it is the year that I'm going to have a successful garden. I've got the property to do it. If you haven't seen my property yet, it's pretty awesome. I love it. And I already made some mistakes this year, so I just wanted to show you really quick what my mistakes were and how you can avoid them. So the first mistake I made is starting plants from seeds, and I started them on my windowsill, which I thought, look, it's a window, it's got sun, you see the sun, right? Well, then I was trying to figure out which direction was north or whatever, and then I realized that I don't have my plants in the right window. I have my plants facing in a north window, which is not good. If you're going to be starting plants in a window, which I'm not really sure because I'm not an expert and I always suck at this, but if you're going to be starting plants in a window, then you want to make sure that you start them in a south facing window, not a north facing window, because we're in the northern hemisphere and the south facing windows get the most light. And I don't have a south facing window that has a place to put these in, so I kind of failed at that, and I'm going to show you what happened. These are my very sad plants, and for someone that doesn't know anything about gardening, you might think, wow, look how long they are. Those are some beautiful plants. But the thing is, these plants, and these are Brussels sprouts, And these are my tomatoes, which might be salvageable, I think still. And then this is my broccoli. Ooh, see how long they are? Bigger is not better in terms of planting. So what happens is when you have something growing, you've got your roots down here, right? That's obvious. And then the rest of your plant grows up. These are falling over. Well, these plants aren't getting enough light, so they kind of fall over. They kind of like stretch out. They reach. So all of the development is happening up here. All the development is happening up here. You want it to be happening down here in the root system. So these plants have poorly established roots. And I'm just gonna see if I can pull one out to show you. Okay. And see here, see how little those roots are. Very, very, very poorly established roots in comparison to how long they are. So are these Brussels sprouts salvageable? I don't think so. They're gonna have a really hard time. So when you want to plant your garden, put it in a south window or get an outhouse. Don't get an outhouse. Don't plant them in an outhouse. Get a greenhouse. A greenhouse. If you plant your plants in an outhouse, I don't want to see it. And then we will just step over here. The second step, or the second mistake, it wasn't quite a mistake, but the second thing that I learned here was when I planted my sweet peppers. So I asked my dad, we're like all in survival mode, right? We're like, yeah, let's plant a garden, let's be homesteaders, and let's like have survival skills. My brother's like ready to like move into the mountains and be a mountain man and go hunting and fishing, and he got chickens too, which he's never had chickens before. Chickens have always been my thing, even before, you know, this end of the world crisis, right? Side note, it's not the end of the world. I know that, okay? Joking. But chickens have always been my thing. I've always loved my chickens and my ducks when I had them. It was always my goal to get a piece of land attached to the house that I was buying that would allow me to do that again. So, and I really want to have a garden too, even though it's really not my thing. My thumb is not very green, see? Not green at all. So my dad wanted sweet peppers. I said I was taking requests. My dad's older, he can't garden anymore. Taking requests, I decided I was going to make sweet peppers. Make them. I guess that's making them. I was going to grow them. So then I looked at and it said germination for sweet peppers can be up to 3 weeks long. I don't have that kind of patience to sit here and wait 3 weeks looking at dirt. So I actually went out and bought a germination mat. And this is just a mat that your plants can go under or your plants can go over. I'm having a hard time talking. I'm an English teacher, by the way. But this is just a germination mat that it's going to heat up. It's going to get warm so that your plants can get warmth to start them to germinate faster. So within a couple of days of putting them on the germination mat, I got this for my sweet peppers, or my dad's sweet peppers. This growth happened overnight. Yesterday I was looking at dirt in there, and now, oh, I don't know, maybe a third of them have popped up, and they're pretty, you know, they're pretty good. So I need to get these outside in my greenhouse so that they do not end up looking like my other. That's all I've got today for my gardening tips. Gardening tips from someone who doesn't know what she's talking about, but I'm gonna tell you what I've learned from my mistakes, so hopefully you can't make them yourself. If you see that I'm doing something wrong, please call me out on it. I'm not coming to you as an expert. I'm coming to you as a, this is what I'm doing, this is what I have learned. Gee, I wonder why my plants don't survive. Hold on. Excuse me, cats. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, did you know that you're in my window? Did you know that? So later on I'm going to go out and I'm going to show you what I do to set up my greenhouse. My greenhouse is already existing. I have bought the ones from Amazon, and I'll put a link to the one I've had before. I loved it. It's cheap plastic, and I recommend putting a cinder block on the bottom of it to hold it down. I have been successful in gardening in my greenhouse. I have, in starting plants like that. But this greenhouse is all glass, and it is actually chilly in there. It's only about 50 degrees in there right now. And the reason being, which is about 10 degrees warmer than the air temperature outside. But the reason that it's still chilly is because it's not insulated in any way, shape, or form. So how they used to heat the greenhouse was there was a wood burning stove, and when they sold the house, prior to selling the house, they had an auction on the antiques, and that was one of the antiques that was in there, was the wood burning stove. So at the way that it's at right now, my greenhouse is not operational, it's just windows. And plus it's got from the vent from the stove that's letting cold air in as well. So I'm going to take there are some ways that you can warm up your greenhouse, and you can insulate, you can completely insulate the north wall, which I'm not going to do, but I am going to put like a clear plastic over the windows so that it can keep the warmth inside. And you can also fill the bottom, you can put black mulch on the bottom, and black mulch keeps the heat inside as well. It can help insulate it. And another thing you can do is put like barrels, like water barrels in there. I haven't really looked exactly how to do that. Again, I'm not coming here as an expert, coming here as someone that's just learning things and sharing my journey with you, because I think it's cool. I think it's really cool to be able to do this kind of stuff. So that's really exciting. And before I leave, do you want to see my chickens and my ducks? My ducks have gotten pretty big. Ducks grow so fast. Here, okay, so this is one of my ducks. If you would have seen it before, my ducks were very small and like, you know, little ducklings that you think about when you think about ducklings. Yeah. And my ducks should actually be called chickens, because my chickens like people better than my ducks do. Yeah, look how cute. And then I'll show you my favorite one, actually. Oh, no, honey, you are my favorite. Shh. My little crested duck. Look at her little poof ball. His or her little poof ball. I don't want kisses. Yeah. Do you see how big they're getting? My babies are getting big. I have 6 ducks, and I'm not entirely sure of all of their breeds. I know that this little guy or girl is a crested duck, and you'll keep that little poof on your head. It will just get bigger and whiter. Just for comparison, this little guy is a Rhode Island red chicken, and she is the same age as that duck that you just saw. And they're roughly the same size when you get them. So see how fast they grow? Ducks grow so fast. And this is my oldest chicken, or one of my oldest chickens. And here we go. Oh, where are you at here? You can see that this chicken is not even the size of the duck that is a couple weeks younger. Yeah, they grow fast, don't they? So I'm basically a wannabe homesteader. I'm going to be giving you the updates on my homesteading journey. If you see me doing something wrong, do me and like everybody that watches me a favor and call me out in the comments, because I appreciate, or even if you have like a tip, like, hey, do this instead. This is what I found works. Because I think it's really helpful to be able to learn from each other. I'm just learning as I go. Future plans for the homestead, I'm gonna have fruit trees, which should be coming in between Friday and Sunday. I order them by mail, which I've never ordered anything by mail as far as, you know, chickens, ducks, trees, plants, anything like that. I'm pretty much a Lowe's or Tractor Supply girl, and or like the other small nurseries. And let's see, I got a couple apple trees, a couple peach trees, an apricot tree. I don't know why I don't like apricots. Hopefully somebody in my family does. And did I say cherry? Did I say peach? Did I say apple? I think I got them all. And then some blueberries. And I love my trees. When I had my fruit trees, I loved them. And it's really good because a lot of the fruit is extra food for whatever farm animals you decide to have, which in my case is my chickens and my ducks. So I'll see you guys later. I'll try to update you on the little homestead as developments are made, and I'll show you my greenhouse as developments are made with that too. All right, bye guys. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see more, and I don't know. I appreciate it. Bye.